Some of you guys have seen that we had solar panels installed. They're not leased. We bought them outright. Sean did all the calculations on what we would need for what we use. And then we had a company called Cell Solar installed them for us. So Sean did all the legwork to buy them, and then we had somebody install them. We installed a heat pump water heater, and Sean and I removed the old boiler heating system that we had, and we had this heat pump furnace installed, and it's only good to 5 degrees Fahrenheit, because how do you pull heat out of 5 degrees Fahrenheit? So there's a backup gas furnace to help augment our electric heat, but we had our natural gas seasonally shut off last week because it got to 80 degrees Fahrenheit the other day, but it's going to get down to 10 degrees tonight into tomorrow. So that's why Sean's been really concentrating on getting a lot of wood chopped for us. Big one. I think we need to do one more on that one.
I was just thinking that as I was throwing it.
Yeah. Lego. Too big?
Yep.
It's amazing how a dead tree can hold on to itself.
stick like that. It's normally split easy.
Must be still too wet.
I'll put a few bits in here to weigh it down. That's another good one to, there's lots of good splitting ones.
Yeah.
These are already small. But this is the middle, so that's going to be tougher.
We need like a baby log splitter.
We do.
Does it normally fight you like that?
A little bit, not normally this much.
Oh, that was a good one. Yeah, like that. Sean got this load ready for us. And that too. So we figure that's gonna help hold us for 12 hours while it's going to be bitter cold. And he's also got some more wood in the barn ready to be chopped. We have extra cattle panels since we removed the cattle panels, and we're going to grow our vegetables here this year. So we've got this raised panel that's either going to be for regular tomatoes, cherry tomatoes, and then this will be butternut squash on both sides, and they're going to grow up and over the cattle panels. And then we're going to make a raised bed area. We took one of the cattle panels and cut it in half, and Sean's going to make a table for us to set totes on, and we're going to try that. And, I'm getting ready to batten down the hatches. I got us some snacks for this afternoon, some cheese and crackers, some lettuce. We got grapes and homemade yogurt. I think we'll just batten down the hatches and enjoy a movie or something while this nasty weather goes through. I've got this great 1975 cookbook. I'm gonna make pineapple cookies. I made them earlier this week and they were delicious. Let's see, pineapple, page 39, and I will zoom in on the recipe for you. I've never heard of such a thing, but I had a spare can of pineapple, so I thought I'd give it a try. The recipe calls for coconut, and I really don't want to add coconut to it. I can see why they have it in the recipe because it's probably, pineapple and coconut go really well together. But when I made it earlier this week, I used a 1/4 cup of craisins and a 1/4 cup of pecans. But I'm thinking about doubling this recipe because I've got a huge can. It was cheaper to buy the huge crushed can of pineapple than it was the small one. So I think I'm just going to double the recipe. I think that's going to be delicious. The recipe says to make sure that the pineapple, the crushed pineapple, the first time I made it, I had pineapple rings and I just cut them, chopped them into little pieces, and that worked fine. But this time I specifically bought crushed pineapple, but it says well drained. I'm just pushing the pineapple down into the sieve to get all extra juice out. There's lots of juice in the can. Since I'm doubling my recipe, I'm going to use a half a cup of craisins, and my craisins are really dry. They're from Jewel. I just boiled some water. I'm going to soak the craisins in boiled water to help plump them up for the cookies. You definitely need a big bowl for this when you double the recipe. I used this 1.5 tablespoon scoop last time, and that made the cookies too big because I was supposed to get 42 out of a single batch, and I got maybe 1.5 dozen, so that's too big. This one's a little bit smaller. I'm gonna say it's probably a tablespoon, so I'll make them this size. Try not to get flour everywhere. I was worried it was going to be too much pineapple because the original recipe only calls for 8¼ ounces. So doubling the recipe would have been 16½ ounce of pineapple. And my can was a 20 ounce. So it was 4 ounces more, or a half a cup more liquid. But it's fine. The dough is not too wet, that's for sure. And it called for 2 cups, so doubling is 4 cups of flour. And for my flour and for how dry it is in the house right now, 4 cups of all-purpose flour was 700 grams for me. I'll mix it and then I'll get it on the cookie sheet and get it in the oven. Recipe says that I should grease the pan, but I didn't last time and it was fine. Oh, I also put in 2 heaping teaspoons of cinnamon into the recipe. So I've changed the recipe quite a bit. But it was delicious the way I made it the other day, and they kept their shape. They didn't spread, so that's why I'm putting them as close together as I am. There's the raw cookie, and that's the baked cookie. You see they don't spread, and I baked them a little bit longer than what the recipe says to until I feel that they're firm, and they are. See how they're nice and firm? 12 minutes at 375. And I'm gonna freeze this tray. That's why I've got them so close together. I put some water onto the baking sheet with my hand, just spread it around, put the parchment paper on, and then there's 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35. So 75 cookies out of the 2 recipes, so 6 dozen when it was supposed to make 84. But that's okay, I made them bigger.